the gun that won the West. This is the 1874 repeater, and although it may not look like it, this is a sniper rifle. It does share the penetration characteristic that the other sniper rifles have, and it also sports high damage and accuracy. Let's take a look at the stats. This repeater has a magazine of 15, total ammo 45, rate of fire of 90, damage of 184, accuracy of 18, stability of 12, concealment of 10, and threat of 84. Now I do have one mod on it that is increasing its accuracy and also decreasing its concealment. And with the perk dex maxed out, you get that extra little bit of damage, but that's not really anything to note of. Pretty much, this thing is, well, it's a mid-tier sniper rifle, and if you compare it to the Rattlesnake and the R93, it fits right in between these two. But I'm actually going to compare it more to the Rattlesnake, and you'll see why later. But first, let's take a look at the available mods that this gun has. You can put on a long barrel, like I said, increases accuracy, decreases concealment, and you can also put a silence barrel. And for the sight, you can put a scope on it, although I actually prefer the gun with just the iron sights. They're very manageable, and it makes this gun a very formidable close-range sniper rifle, kind of like the Mosin Nagant. And, well, the scope also looks a little funky. It looks like one of those Christmas wrapping tubes, and you just kind of stuck it on your gun. Not only that, this sight is very zoomed in, almost as much as a Theoscope, if not more. I don't really know, but it is really zoomed in, so it's great at long range, but when you're fighting anything up close, you have a hard time aiming it. Or at least I do. Anyway. Now, like I said, you could put this silence barrel on it, although I don't think it either boosts or hinders your performance. You know, even if you have Silent Killer, the sniper rifle will function the same. So, what's special about this? Well, let's take a closer look at the Rattlesnake and compare these stats. The Rattlesnake already has a really big magazine for a sniper rifle, you know, where the R93 has 6 rounds, the Thanatos has 5, and the Mosin Nagant only has 5 itself. The Rattlesnake has a large magazine, but it is beaten by the new repeater with a magazine of 15, so you have 5 extra rounds. You lose out on 5 rounds of total ammo, but it doesn't really matter that much, right? The repeater has a higher rate of fire, much higher damage just from looking at the numbers, same accuracy, and the repeater also has quite a bit of stability, whereas the Rattlesnake right now has none, although I do have the mod that decreases the stability a little bit. I just like the way this looks. But yeah, even if I didn't have that mod on, it would still lose out on stability. So, why am I comparing these two? I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks like the repeater just outright beats the Rattlesnake. Well, not really quite so. And I would like to get into that a little bit more in the gameplay, and I'll show you exactly why I think this. But just keep in mind these stats and how they differ, and we will see how these two weapons stack up. Damn, they see me from far away. So the biggest reason why I talked about comparing the new repeater with the Rattlesnake rifle is because on Death Wish, I've actually found out that they function very similarly, and I mean like surprisingly similarly. It takes about the same amount of shots to kill as the Rattlesnake does for most units. It takes 2 shots to kill a tan guy with headshots. It takes 3 shots to kill a taser, 2 for a cloaker, and 3 for a shield if you're trying to penetrate the shield. I really did not expect that the repeater and the Rattlesnake would function that similarly. You know, there is a pretty big damage difference, but at the end of the day, it actually really doesn't matter. So that was kind of eye-opening to me. And it really puts into perspective that this gun is not that much more powerful than the Rattlesnake. In fact, it's mostly up to preference now. So, the two biggest differences, other than, you know, the obvious damage difference, was that with the lever action, there is a lot more stability. The Rattlesnake, it is probably known as one of the sniper rifles that has the least stability. You know, every time you shoot, it kicks way high up. And if you like to sustain your ADS after every shot, like this, then it could be a big factor for you. But for me, I like to take off my ADS and rescope, so it's not too much of a problem. See, as you can see right there, it took 3 shots just to kill that shield. The same amount as the rattlesnake. So although the rattlesnake does have less damage, it's not that much different. But god damn, I love this lever action. It is a beautiful weapon. The animations they did with it, it really gives the weapon justice. And I guess some other things to mention is that this starts off with a magazine, quote-unquote, of 15, which is more than the rattlesnake, but it doesn't reload like a magazine, you know, it doesn't reload all at once. You reload one at a time. So although it does start off with more, you are constantly reloading a lot more as well. Which could be good, could be bad, depends on your playstyle. I think I actually prefer this. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I already put one down. So yeah, because of the fact that this and the rattlesnake function almost exactly the same, there really isn't much more to say about it. At this point, it's mostly preference as to which one you want to use. I really like the way this handles. And there's a lot of stuff over there. There we go. But yeah, there might be some differences if you go for like body shots. Maybe this weapon is faster to kill, and maybe it kills some higher tier enemies with one shot in a body shot than the rattlesnake. But on Death Wish, for most purposes, it's the same. They function the same. And since I really do enjoy the iron sights of this, as much as I enjoy the iron sights of the Mosin Nagant, you know, this thing just really fits with me very well. Fits with my playstyle very well. Ooh. Melee. My mouse is a little broken, so I occasionally melee like that. I don't want that taser getting close. One thing I do see that the rattlesnake has a lot more than the lever action is that it actually has sights. So if you actually prefer, like, you know, a speculator sight or a mil-spec scope or ACOG or anything else, maybe a Thea too, then the rattlesnake is still your go-to sniper rifle for that. Yeah, 2 shots for cloakers, 3 shots for tasers. Overall, the very first impression is, you know, this makes the rattlesnake obsolete, and after playing with it for a while, it really does not. And I've not actually tried this with Kilmer yet, but even with Kilmer, it doesn't change the fact that if you expend through all 15 rounds, you have to reload each one, and that takes a long time. Oh, poor lady's dead. That's okay. And I think one of the best things about this gun is the hip fire. The hip fire animation is lovely. I love it. Oh, I just shot a helmet on the ground. Although with the nature of this gun, it's really like, oh lordy. It's really like the other sniper rifles in which its hipfire is very unreliable. Although because it doesn't look like a traditional sniper, I tend to hipfire this a lot, and I tend to miss quite a bit because of that. So I have to make a conscious effort to actually ADS a lot more than I should be, or than I should need to, if I were using assault rifle. Although if you are point blank, hip firing is still very nice. Another thing to note about this compared to the Rattlesnake is the Rattlesnake is one of the snipers with the highest rate of fire, and this one has an even faster rate of fire, which is really nice. So if you need to spam it, like so, then it'll do the job for you. This is a very bad position to be in. It's a good thing we have Swan Song. Swan Song and Inspire, too good. There we go. At first it was hard to use these iron sights because you don't really know where to aim for it, but after using it for a while, it's almost second nature. Take that, thank you very much. Pick up that extra little bit of ammo, kill that sniper, and we're good. So the biggest upsides to this over, say, the Rattlesnake is the fact that it has a lot less recoil per shot, and with the extra starting ammo, you know, you have 15 rounds instead of 10, you can manage your shots better sometimes, depending on how you play. Yeah, let's get out of here. Very nice. A very enjoyable weapon to use. If anybody wants to say that it's OP, though, or that it makes the Rattlesnake obsolete, then, well, you're SOL. Because it's not quite like that. And using it in-game is always different than looking at it on paper.